There we go. All right. So 3, 2, and 1. Well, Richard, welcome back. Mirrors Monday here at WSAU, WSAU.com. Glad you could spend some time with us here on this as we kind of close the year out down there in Kronenwetter.
Well, I want to tell everybody first, happy holidays. We're very excited, Merry Christmas, all the other pieces of the holiday season. Very excited. So
yeah, indeed. And obviously, the last couple of years have been bringing some challenges there. You've had not only the COVID, you've had to navigate some water supply issues, changed up your water supply, at least in one aspect. And, for somebody, a village your size, it's so kind of spread out, it's got the mix of rural and industrial. I imagine snow removal is probably a pretty complicated deal. And so far you haven't had to deal with that.
Nope, just a little. We had a little dusting. It was about a week ago. The guys were out just one day. But yeah, we've got a little over 110 miles of road. And we obviously go from subdivisions to, cul-de-sacs to rural. And we've got a crew of 5 that is just a quality crew, does a great job for us. And then we've got some part-timers that come in. We get, they take care of business really, really easily. So I'm very proud of the performance they do all the time. So.
Yeah, there's been a lot made about, how long it may take to clear streets. Obviously, I'm sure this is something we'll talk about. There's a worker shortage. There's a lot of people that are looking for gigs or looking to fill positions. So with a small crew like that, I imagine you don't have a whole lot of room for margin of error. If there's just 1 or 2 missing, it can be a big impact.
Yeah. Our guys, they all know that vacation time is any time but the winter. So they basically take their vacations outside of winter, which they're great to do. And if someone, say, has a dentist appointment or they've got something going on, they fill in, and it's just a well-oiled machine. They just do a great job. One of them picks up, and we've got 5 big snow routes that the guys run. And if someone is out for the day or out for the week or whatever, the other guys will just pick it up. It'll takes us a little bit longer, or one of our part-time guys comes in or something like that. So they get the job done pretty well. Like I said, always impressed with how they do things.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like you mentioned, going from a variety of different streets and pretty spread out like that, it certainly takes a while. How long does it typically take them to say we get a good 4 or 5 inches of snow? How long does it take them to finish that off?
Or if and this is I would say, well, it really depends, because you're gonna have to worry about ice and salting and everything else. So usually if they get started at 3:00 in the morning, we're ready. Our roads are ready to be traveled by about 7, because they want to hit that for the buses in the morning. So what's that, about 3 hours, 4 hours? And it really depends on if you got cul-de-sacs, if you got cars that got to be moved, if you got ice, so there are a lot of variables. But usually the guys will come in early, and they can watch the radar pretty easily. So they know we're going to be in at this time. Trucks are ready. This is ready. That's ready. So they always plan ahead. They're very ready to go.
That's pretty impressive right there. So obviously hats off to them, and hopefully they get the raises and everything that they deserve behind the scenes. And of course that comes with the village budget. I'm sure you're working on finalizing that and getting that ready so the famous Christmas presents can be in the mail in December, correct?
Yep. We actually finished the budget. The board adopted it. And our part of our taxes will be going down a pretty good amount because the board has decided to reduce a lot of debt. So we're paying down debt, so we don't really have to levy for as much. So village residents should be, that's what I was looking at real quick. I was going to try to grab my report to the board. Village residents should be very pleasantly surprised when they see the village's portion of the property taxes. And I always tell folks, now realize we're about 25% of your tax bill. So if the schools go up, no offense against the schools, they deal their own budgets. If the schools go up, the NTC goes up, the county goes up, that's not something I can control. But ours should be dipping pretty good amount. So, and that's just because of our debt load is being reduced. Why the board decided to go through and reduce the debt load and basically pay as you go, as they call it, instead of borrowing ahead of time. So that's been their modus operandi for a couple of years, and we've reduced debt. Since I got here, we had about a little over 30 million in debt, and since now we're about almost around 10 million. So we've really reduced the debt over the last 10 years. So
Yeah, and reduce the debt, but you've been able to maintain a certain level of service,
yep.
which I think is probably one of the bigger things that you have to do when you're putting this puzzle together is finding a way to not put the projects off, maintain service, and reduce debt.
Yeah, they're putting money away for equipment. I mean, snowplow trucks, for example, you're going to pay for a snowplow truck. Normally in a regular year, you pay 200, 225. We're probably going to be a little bit higher than that because of the supply versus the demand for trucks. And those things aren't cheap. We usually say that's a 16-year life on our trucks, and we've got them kind of feathered out over time to buy them. And so actually, this year we're going to put one more onto the fleet, and we're going to take one off, but we're actually holding on to the one because it's going to take us some time to get the new one kind of situated for the fleet to go out in the snow. So, but that's because we've made some kind of solid put of money aside decisions over time. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's definitely good news for village residents.
Mhm.
And again, it's the great Christmas present. I know I get one now. But if you're going to have those levels of service, they've got to be paid for somewhere along the line.
Yeah,
Speaking of money,
please.
oh, yeah, speaking of money, just curious, what are you got any plans yet for your American Recovery Act dollars yet there in the village? Do you know how much you've got or what you're going to be
So we got 433,000 as our first half. So we're going to see about $866,000, and I'm rounding off a little bit. And we can pay it for a number of things. And the village board said they call it the tranche, but the first payment that we got, we're probably going to use for water and sewer infrastructure improvements. Unfortunately, the ARPA money, the American Rescue Plan Act money, can't be used for roads. It can't be used for equipment. So I can't buy police cruisers. I can't do roads. I can't do oil in the fire trucks. I can't do those type of things, but we can pay it for water and sewer infrastructure, broadband infrastructure. And I talked to the board, and this first half, they're going to put it towards water and sewer. And as a kind of divided community with some people as residential that water and sewer, and some people not, residential without water and sewer, the board really had to take a look at, okay, where's our population and how can we do this fairly? So I kind of talked to them about, we've got this water and sewer project, our water quality project, you kind of alluded to already. Let's put the 430 towards that water improvement project so the rates don't have to be adjusted too much. And then for the second tranche, let's see what we can do more generally for the community. So the first 400,000 is going to go towards a water and sewer water improvement project. And then the second, they're going to see what they can do. So.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people have really been saying, because it seems that even though this money came out several months ago now, there's still a lot of questions about what it can and can't be used for.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
how clear do you feel you are on that right now? You've obviously got a pretty good plan for the first half.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of COVID response to, this was money to respond to COVID. And for us, we don't provide health services. We don't provide educational services. We don't do like housing rehabilitation, those type of things. So we had to look to see where could we use the money. And the water improvement project was just an easy, we looked at it, and it was very clear in the FAQs that the Department of Treasury has that we could spend it on this. So let's do that, because we have to have the money out the door by 2026. So we wanted to make sure that we were starting that process. And we had a large project that was staring us in the face. So it's a good time for it.
So then just exactly how is this going to impact residents that are on the municipal water system?
Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to actually be building a small building. It's over on County Road XX, just south of, if people know where a relocation bar is, and BP. to the north of that. It's just going to be south of that. And it's going to be a small building to connect our water system with the village of Rothschild. And then we are going to purchase water from the village of Rothschild for our system, which will allow us to take one of our water wells that has a problem, high manganese, high iron, offline, and basically instead purchase water that Rothschild has treated to put in our water system. And then down the road, our phase 2 and phase 3 of the project is us looking for another water well and then treating that water well that had a problem. So eventually it could be that maybe we don't buy water from Rothschild, or maybe we only buy a portion or something like that. So this is to get us good kind of filtered water from Rothschild, and then to have us do the next steps. And we've talked to the Department of Natural Resources about it. So they're aware of what we're doing, the PSC, because water is highly regulated in this state. They're aware of what we're doing. The PSC is aware of what we're doing, and we're going to move forward with it. So it's going to improve our water quality. So that was something that the residents really had a concern about, and the board really kind of took up the mantle of that and moved forward with it real quick. So
and you mentioned how this could impact rates. Obviously, you've already done the rate study. You've told residents what was going to happen. So is this going to be, oh, wait a minute, we don't have to borrow as much for this, so we may not be passing as many of these costs on to you?
And the unusual thing is, and it's not something you'd see in like a household to do, but we build the facilities, we operate it for a year, and then the Public Service Commission, the PSC, then tells us what our rates are going to be, which just seems kind of backwards. But that's how it works. So we put this thing online, we operate it for a year, and then they come back and say, okay, we believe your rate should go up by 10 cents or, by 15 cents. The nice thing is, because we're going to use that ARPA money to pay down what we would have had to borrow or basically spend out, it's not going to be that expensive, to do. So it's about a $250,000 building, because you got to do all the pipes and everything else, the control systems. I mean, it's probably no bigger than maybe a large shed, but it's going to have a lot of control systems in it, and that plus the cost of purchasing the water is going to be our major expenses. So the rates will probably have to be adjusted, and we're going to make sure we communicate that to residents. We had a couple of open houses early in 2021 to talk about what the impact could be, without knowing that the ARPA money would be in play. And so now that we got the ARPA money, it's going to be hopefully less. I mean, the PSC is basically going to tell us what the rates are. The board can only, they have to at least set the rates to what the PSC says. And, that's about it. There's not much the board can do with it. The state sets the rates. So.
Yeah, that's something that we'll be watching down the line. And again, I think a great use of that of the ARPA funds, especially if you're going to help out residents a little bit in the pocketbook like that. You can't ever go wrong there. One more thing before we let you go. Obviously, Kronenwetter, you're a very, very residential village. You've got some of the industry there. You've got the truck repair outfits, but it's very, very residential. So you got to have a little fun with your residents this time of year. You got the snowman building contest coming up here. Obviously, it's not going on right now as we speak. There is pavement. There is brown grass outside. There is not much in the way of snow, but this is something that's going to be a winter-long fun thing for residents.
Yep. There's actually 2 events I want to just mention real quick. One is the Deck the Yard event. We do that every year. We've been doing that for the last, I think, 6 years, where people nominate, they decorate their yard, obviously for the holidays, for Christmas, for New Year's. And then they nominate either themselves or their neighbors. The deadline for that to get nominations in is usually December 13th. And then in January is when we're going to do the kids snowman making contest. It's the second year that we're going to have it. Last year was kind of thin because we didn't have much snow.
Right.
But we're going to have the snowman making contest. Applications to get that done is in January. We always tell folks to have fun with it and, go out and enjoy the snow. So those 2 events, you can find more information about it at kronenwetter.org. And we always tell folks, take some pictures, go out and enjoy the snow, enjoy time with the family. And hopefully we'll have some winter weather so people can make snowmen this year. Not so much last year. It was, we did have some, but not very many. So,
Yeah, indeed. And good snowman making snow as well. That's
exactly.
just as important. You got to have the good sticky stuff that's good for packing. And
Mhm.
then I don't know who your favorite Avenger is, but go outside and put an Iron Man helmet on it and take a big picture, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say I've always been a Cap. That's
Okay.
always been the first Avenger, but I mean I'll take any of the. I'm a big fan of any of them. So
Yeah, indeed. And of course, you occasionally get confused for one as well, right? Don't you?
you well, and a lot of because my last name is Downey, so a lot of times people will call me Robert, and actually my first name is Richard, not Robert. So, but I always tell them I'm not Iron Man, but yeah. So
You,
but yeah, very exciting. So the two last events, and of course, like you already talked about, the everybody's going to get their tax bill. The other thing I want to plug real quick, if I can, is our village clerk of many years is retiring in January. So we are taking applications to replace her. So if people want to go to our website, again, kronenwetter.org, they can see her position. We've got some other positions that are still unfilled. Take a look. We've got some great benefits here. It's a great team to be involved with. Great organization. The village board's really kind of moving forward on things. So good time to get involved in the village. So
Absolutely, and don't even need to be a resident of the village. You've got all the good stuff outlined there, right?
yep, exactly, exactly.
All right. Well, we always appreciate the time, Richard. Again, appreciate it, and we'll look forward to chatting again down the road.
Okay, yep. We'll talk to you later. A good one. Thanks.